Hello everyone. So today we are going to study about the next unit, that is genetics and evolution. So genetics and evolution, it is based on the concept of genes, it is based on the concept of heredity, how the characters inherit from one generation to other. This unit consists of 3 chapters, that is principles of inheritance and variation. The second chapter in this unit is molecular basis of inheritance, and the third chapter is evolution. So we will start learning all the concepts which comes under the first chapter of this unit, that is principles of inheritance and variation. So let me write that complete units and chapters. The unit name is genetics and evolution. It consists of 3 chapters. The first one is principles of inheritance and variation. So that chapter name is principles of inheritance and variation. As a rule, we are going to study, or we are going to see how many concepts are there. It includes what are the concepts which come across in this chapter. The first one is Mendel's laws of LAWS, laws of inheritance. Okay, the second content of this chapter is inheritance of one gene. All right, we will understand all these concepts. The next content, inheritance of two gene. The third one is, so the third one follows the fourth one, sex determination, and the fifth one is mutation. The sixth one is genetic disorders. So the contents are as follows. The first of all, here they have given the scientist name, saying what is that? The full name of Mendel is Gregor Johann Mendel. So first we'll understand his work, what he did, how he established the work or the experiments, and in genetics why they have given his name. So simple it is. He is the father of genetics. Now what is genetics? Let me introduce you, or let me write the definition of genetics now. So the definition of genetics, where is the genetics word? The unit name is genetics and evolution. So we are going to learn about we are going to understand what is genetics. So it is the branch of biology. As you know, it comes under biology, which deals with the inheritance and variation of characters from parents to offsprings, or in total where we can call it as generation to generation. So that's all about the what is that definition of genetics. So the genetics deals with inheritance and variation. Again the chapter name came in the definition of genetics. So we didn't study or we don't know about the inheritance and variation, what it means. So simple it is. Inheritance is nothing but, let me write the definition of inheritance also. So remember, keep that in mind. Genetics deals with the inheritance and variation of characters. You might have seen the characters inherit from our grandparents to our parents, from our parents to us, from us to our next offsprings. So the characters flows from generation to generation. What characters may be? It may be like the complexion, the hair, the length or the physique, whatever we are having, it has been inherited from our what is that? Parents, right? So we'll see an exact term for the inheritance. So I'm going to write. Still I have not started the chapter, only I am making you understand the words, the definition of the words. Okay, here we have studied, we came to know about the genetics. It is dealing with the inheritance and variation. Now we are understanding what is inheritance. Later on I will tell you what is variation. Later on we will come to the Mendel and his work. After that we will move on with the concept. So I will write here about the inheritance. So what is inheritance now? So the inheritance is nothing but, it is a process by which, it is just a process by which the characters, what characters you have to think about it, what characters we are going to describe here. So in an organism, whatever the organisms will be, right from the what is that microorganisms to the macroorganisms, any organism you can think of it. So those character in the organism, whatever the characters it has, those characters inherited, passed from, process by which the characters passed on from the parents to offspring. Think, if we are talking about the offspring here, offspring character, whatever the character it has, the offspring has, the character are passed on from its parent. So that is nothing but inheritance. Basically it is also known as heredity, or it is a basis of heredity. Alright, so I thought you came with this inheritance definition. I will move on to the variation now. The variation, you might have seen your parents, like we won't resemble our parents in all the way, the faces are differ, the changes are there. Those changes are nothing but the variation. So the variation, it is the degree by which progeny, let me write the definition of this, it is the degree by which the progeny, here I am using the word progeny, by which the progeny differ from its parent. So, progeny is an offspring, a child, a new organism, and parent means as you know. So, not all organisms are similar, some variations will be there, but these variation we can't see or we can't make out these kind of variations. Those organisms from the organisms where the asexual reproduction took place. The organisms they give rise to the offsprings by means of asexual reproduction. In those organisms, maybe variation can't be seen. Only asexual type of reproduction, in those organisms only we can see the variation. So that's all about the chapter name, the definition of chapter's name. So you come across with the inheritance and you come across with the variation. So we'll start with we'll start the work of Mendel. Why he has been called as father of genetics? What he did, what's his contribution, what's his experiment, on what organism he worked. So we'll see one by one. Let me tell you something about the Mendel here. He born in the year of 1822. So this is the born year, and he died in the year of 1884. And he was the priest. He worked on pea plant. Remember this? So this is the basic thing you have to understand. Without this, you can't make out his work, or you can't make out any of the concepts of this chapter. So right from the pea plant till the genetic disorders, it is interlinked. If you come across or if you came to know about the pea plant, if you are not getting what is pea plant, just Google it. Okay, so you will come to know, you can see the various flower colors, various types of pea plant. Check out the pea plant and we'll see or we'll study his work. Okay, so pea plant, the scientific name of this pea plant is Pisum sativum. Pisum sativum, S-A-T-I-V-U-M. Pisum sativum. Why he selected this plant itself? Why not other? Why not rose plant? Why not other? Various flower colors are there. Why only pea plant? So the reason is the pea plant life cycle is, it completes its life cycle in 2 to 3 weeks, and it has seven number of contrasting characters it has. And the seed dormancy in this Pisum sativum, the seed do not undergo the dormancy period. The dormancy in sense resting period or resting stage. And so this Pisum sativum, it has, as I told you, it has several contrasting characters. So that is only the reason behind it. He has selected the pea plant. We'll see what are the contrasting characters it has. Before that, let me tell you a few more concepts behind it, or few more interesting work of Mendel. Let me tell you, the Gregor Johann Mendel, he was not the biologist, he was the mathematician. He started working on pea plant. He was keep on telling the people about the variation and about the inheritance. The characters inherit, as I told you, from parents to offsprings. Okay, but on that time, on his period, actually, Mendel worked on pea plant for 6 to 7 years. For 6 to 7 years continuously, he keep on working on the pea plant. He was keep on telling to the society, yes, the characters inherit from like this, from like this, from like this, but his work was not accepted on his period, on his time. Why? Because the thing is, he was mathematician, his work was not internationally distributed, or his work was not established properly, and he was telling about the factors in sense nowadays we used to call the gene, right? So to the gene he was calling the as factor, because he was the one who described about the gene. Nowadays we are going to call those factors as gene. No one was come to know about his work, like what he is telling. He is a mathematician, why he is telling about the biology, why the characters inherit from one generation to another generation. The concept was not acceptable. No one accepts his work. And after that, after his death, after 16 years of his death, his work was re-established. His work, again whatever he conducted the experiment, again it was reworked. He re-established by 3 scientists known as Hugo de Vries, Schermark, Correns. They 3 restarted his work. What's his work? He was telling about the inheritance and variation. On his period, the work was not accepted. After his death, after 16 years of his death, the 3 scientists restarted his work and they started doing the experiment on that, and later on the people keep on accepting the experiments and all, and then they gave the community, the society gave, or they entitled his name as the father of genetics. So like this his history was. So as I told you, he has chosen the pea plant. For what reason? As I told you, the pea plant, it completes its life cycle in 3 to 4 weeks, and then and it has contrasting character. It has the seed do not undergo the dormancy period, and we'll see the contrasting character of Pisum sativum now. So this is important. What I am writing on the board, this is important. Write down. So the characters, 7 contrasting characters of Pisum sativum. All right. So I'll list all those characters here. So the characters include, the first character is length of the plant. Length of the plant, I'll draw the diagram so that you'll come to know. So length of the plant means the dominant character will be tall and the recessive character will be dwarf. For example, in our family, or if we take one example as a family, the siblings will not be in equal size. In some reasons, in some examples, few of the examples, the offsprings will be in equal size, but few of them, they resemble to their parents. If the father is tall, one of the offspring will be as tall as his father, and if the mother is short, the one of the offspring will be resemble to his mother. Okay, so tall and dwarf, this character indicates the dominant and recessive characters or recessive nature. If a plant, it has produced or it is growing to a length, to a maximum length, it is considered as a dominant character. Same plant, if it is not growing very much, it has ended its length to few centimeter, it means it is considered as a recessive character. On what basis we are studying these characters? If, for example, if we are growing a seed, that seed we have selected from a plant, a good plant, a tall plant. What we will do? So I am taking a seed from a tall plant. I'll think, yes, I am growing the seed taking from the tall plant. The plant will be as tall as its parent, but this offspring, it will end to its length, or it will end only for a few centimeters. We can't understand why it is not growing, why it is not coming to as its mother or its parent. So there some variation occurs. So that variation, it is of many types. We have to understand so many concepts behind it, behind the inheritance. Only in the basic concept, basic knowledge, I'll tell you the dominant and recessive nature. Dominant is known as if the dominant characters coming in one organism, it do not allow the recessive character to express. So those characters is known as the dominant character. If I start telling the examples of it, you'll come to know. If you still have the doubt, don't hesitate to call me, or you can ask me, or you can message me. So the length indicates the length of the plant. Okay, so the position, next character is position of flower. Position of flower means, so let me write the characters of this Pisum sativum. Few of the Pisum sativum, it bear the flower at the axial position, and few plant bear the flowers at terminal position. Now, where will be the axial and where will be the terminal? So if you consider this as a plant, it has so many branches with the leaves. Okay, so let me erase this. So think this is the pea plant. All right. What we are understanding here, we are understanding the characters. Second character, that is position of flower. If in a pea plant, if a flower blooming or it is arising at this axial position, like this, think this is a flower. Here somewhere it is producing the flower. It means this plant is axial. Axial in sense, position of flower is axial. You have to write the opposite one. Terminal in sense, think this is the plant. It is bearing, it is producing the flower at this position. Terminal. The leaves will be here. So came to know the axial position is at the leaving this end of this branch. In every positions the flower is producing, but the terminal one will be at the top of the plant, tip of the plant. So this is how the character differ. That's why he chosen the pea plant. It has contrasting characters. In one character we can see both the nature, tall and dwarf, position of flower is axial and terminal. One more, let me write that also. Position of the flower, color of the flower. Color of the flower is in dominant nature. The color of the flower is purple and the recessive is white. Okay, so the purple, if a pea plant, if it is bearing, if it is producing a purple flowers, those purple flower indicates the dominant character. Okay, if the same plant, if the same plant bear or it is producing a white flower, it means it is showing a recessive nature. Okay, so purple and white, these are the two characters comes under the color of the flower. And fourth one is pod shape. Pod shape. Pea plant means, in the pea plant you might have seen the pea pod. It will be like this. Some of the peas, some of the pea plant or peas will be somewhat irregular shape. Both the peas are available. Pea means these pod shapes are available in market. So if it is smooth or if it is inflated, the pea pods are inflated. So this indicates the dominant nature of pea plant. And if it is constricted like irregular in shape, regular in shape, irregular in shape. Regular shape is named as inflated. Irregular shape is known as constricted. So these are the two character comes under the pod shape of pea plant. Both are possible. Both are possible. And one more thing is there, homozygosity and heterozygosity, homozygous and homo and hetero. If you come out with the homo and hetero condition, you will come to know how the character expresses in the form of dominant and recessive. I will tell you that later. So the next is after the pod shape, pod color and P size, P color. P, it's a seed side or seed color. So these three contrasting character, it has a few more dominant and recessive characters. So that we'll see. The pod color will be the green one. The pod color is, dominant color is green and recessive color will be yellow. And P size or shape, don't write the size here, just change it, make it correct. P, it should come the shape. P shape is the dominant character. In the dominant character, we can write the P shape as round, and P shape in recessive character, it is wrinkled. Round in sense, the P shape dominant character is round. You might have seen that piece, it is in a round shape. If the P's are wrinkled, if it is like that, those P's are known as, they are having recessive genes. If they are round, they are having dominant genes. Okay, if the pea plant is tall, it means it is having dominant gene. If it is dwarf, it is known as a recessive gene. Like that you have to study of all the characters of Pisum sativum. After the pod color, after the P shape, and coming to the P color. So the dominant character or the dominant color of the P is yellow, and recessive is green. So these are the 7 contrasting character of Pea plant, Pisum sativum. It has, as I told you, it has so many contrasting characters, and because of this he selected the pea plant, and it will complete its life cycle in 2 to 3 weeks. So because of some of these reasons, Mendel keep on working on the on this pea plant. All right. So we'll start telling in the exam. Maybe they'll ask you write the 7 contrasting characters of Pisum sativum. This is important. You have to learn it. If they won't ask in the examination, just learn it, because if you come across all these characters, it will be easy to put the checkerboard or Punnett square board by telling the dominant and recessive colors or the characters. So with this we'll end the session now. In the next session we'll see the next concepts of Mendel and his work, and next we'll start the inheritance of 1 gene and 2 gene. Thank you.